At Game Technologies with Gerard Campbell at stuff.co.nz. G'day there, Gerard.
G'day, Wammo. How are you today?
Good, because very, very soon, two big technologies are going to be released from Microsoft Xbox and also Sony PlayStation to take on, I suppose, the Wii console with their fandangled movements in front of the console, in front of the telly that Wii's been enjoying for a long time now.
Yeah, those old fancy move as you groove sort of things, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sony's Move, which is their take on the motion sensing, that's out now. That came out last Thursday.
Yep.
And then, as you said, Microsoft has got their Kinect, which is coming out on November 18. And they're both two very different takes on, the motion sensing platform. Like, of course, the Wii, that's really popularised the motion sensing with, their Wii, and, people are now playing golf how they want to play, golf, and you play tennis how you play tennis. And it proved really popular with, elderly people and families and young children. So I think that both Sony and Microsoft sort of saw that, here was a target market that was really worth getting into. Of course, Sony's always had a big history of supporting, sort of families and children with things like iToy and the Buzz games and those sort of things. So we'll start with the Move. I guess the Move is probably the closest in similarity to the Wii because you've got a physical controller that you hold. And if anyone's seen it, it's sort of, I've had various views that it looks like, an ice cream cone with a, it's got a glowing ball. We see it with the glowing ball on the top.
Yeah. And
that globe, that changes colour depending on situations or programmers can sort of change the colouring of it. But it works in conjunction with the PSI camera, which is the camera which Sony brought out with the PlayStation 3. And essentially what the camera does is the camera tracks the movement of the Move controller by focusing on that glowing globe.
Okay.
So
similar in some way to the Wii, where you actually hold something.
Yeah, it is. You've actually got a tangible something that you're feeling, that you're holding. A lot of people like to have something concrete that they're holding, whereas Kinect, and you've had a go at the Kinect on the weekend, I believe, that the Kinect is completely controller-free. Microsoft's argument is that you are the controller, so it's two completely different control schemes. The Move is... at the moment the games are pretty limited. We've got the ones that I've had a look at least anyway, is one called Start the Party, which is a whole collection of very party-style games which are really geared to that family environment or young kids. There's things like...
Did you start the party, Gerard? Did you?
I did start the party. I did start the party. I said, I'll start the party. And then everyone got involved in the party, which is pretty cool. Even my parents came around one night and they sort of got... and they're sort of in the early 60s, so it's, and it's appealed to them too. So I think that this sort of casual gaming is sort of broadening the market open. But
what did you actually do in order to start the party? What did you
start the party? Well, we got the drinks out, and then we to start the party. It's a whole lot of mini games. It's things like if anyone's played iToy on the PS2, you'll sort of get an idea what it is. You might have a whole lot of bugs appear on the screen, and you've got to swat them with this fly swat. And your Move controller, you can see on screen transforms, into the top of a fly swat, so you can see a fly swat. Or
right.
If you're having to pop big pufferfish that are going around, you're popping pufferfish. So they're very sort of gesture-based, very sort of time-based. Who can get the most scores, who can get this thing. So I mean, that's going to appeal more to family, and but it's nothing that we haven't seen on the PS2. The other full game that I looked at was Sports Champions, which is, I guess, the Move's take on the things that we saw in Wii Sports and Wii Sports Resort. You've got archery, you've got volleyball, you've got disc golf, you've got table tennis, you've got something called bocce. And so this is the sports package.
Did it feel natural when playing some of the stuff? Did it feel?
Yeah, well, it did. Things like the table tennis. I thought that the table tennis was a lot more accurate than table tennis you find in the Wii, because you can get a lot more precise movements than I believe that you can with the Wii. The archery felt pretty good, although I think for the archery you're going to need two controllers, because I think with the two of the Move controllers, you can actually hold one as if you're holding the bow, and then with the other one, there's a trigger on the bottom of the Move, so you hold the trigger down, and you go behind your back, and hold the trigger, and you gesture as if you're pulling out an arrow, and then you aim, and then you release the trigger to fire. And the same things with like the disc golf, you pick it up, and then you just move the controller as if you're tossing the golf. So I think that in terms of those two full games that I've played, I think that probably the Sports Champions is probably a lot more fun because it's probably more closely related to sort of really seeing what the Move can do. But of course, it's really early days for the Move at the moment, and something like the Move is going to live or die, I believe, based on its software. If it hasn't got good software, good games, it's gonna, it's just going to disappear. And I think Start the Party and Sports Champions, while they're fun games, they're not cutting edge and they're not perhaps selling it to its best abilities. But of course, so we've got and the big argument for Sony is that they think that they've got the advantage of the Kinect is that this Move can be used in action games, first-person shooters and those sorts of things. And I've had hands-on at E3 this year that they've got a boxing game coming out called A Fight. So if you have two controllers, you actually, you're doing your physical boxing moves and your uppercuts and your jabs. There's a SOCOM third-person shooter coming out. So you'll hold the Move controllers as if you're firing a weapon and that sort of thing. So I think that, like new technology, it'll take a bit of time for really good games that are going to really utilise the technology to come through, and that'll sort of come through in time. And
we have talked about some Kinects before when you got a hands-on at E3, and I was lucky enough to get a hands-on last week at the Microsoft Open House. I found it surprisingly really, really fun. Of course, with Xbox Kinect, you're not actually holding anything, so it's detecting your whole body. It's got a camera and it's looking at your whole body and where it is, and it also recognises you as well. You can sign into the Xbox using Kinect. I played some bowling and I found that quite natural, although it's something to get used to without actually holding something. You're actually, it's a very make believe. You're performing the actions and following your avatar on screen and sort of making that connection, which I think will take a little bit of time to actually feel like you're that character on screen. Yeah.
I mean, I think that if if I put the two technologies together, the Kinect and the Move, I think that in terms of technological wow factor, I think that the Kinect will probably sway me because it is actually something remarkably different from, these other motion-based controllers. It's as you said that, especially with the bowling, like to pick up the bowling ball, you just move your hand to the right or where the bowling balls are.
Yeah.
And suddenly you're holding a bowling ball.
Yeah.
And I think it'll take a few goes. It takes a few goes to actually get your mind into that mindset, thinking, heck, I actually aren't holding something. I'm not actually physically pressing buttons or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think the Move and the Kinect are, a lot of hardcore gamers are really skeptical about these devices, saying, they're offering nothing for us, and these games are all casual, and nobody's going to play these games. But when I had to go with the Kinect, I was actually really surprised at how games like Kinect Adventures and even the Kinect Sports, and the bowling and the Darts Central, and they're actually a lot of fun. And I think that there is a place for devices like this because it's actually and this is to the benefit for all of gaming. This is actually introducing gaming to audiences that wouldn't normally play games. That they'd be put off by the Mafia 2s and the Halo Reaches and the Gears of War. But I mean, I think you're right. I think that with the Kinect, it takes a bit more of a mindset to actually recognize, wow, I'm not actually holding, all these years of using buttons. Here I am suddenly, just waving my hand up and holding my hand in position or moving it. It's quite cool. It's quite a cool sort of thing to be thinking.
And also, it makes you realise how for these two technologies, probably I guess for the Move as well. I haven't had a hands-on with Move, but you do need a lot of room, and you don't want that glass coffee table close by. and you really want to move the furniture around to make room because you do feel like you do need to put in some effort with these new technologies. Not like the Wii where you could sort of fake it and just sit there on your couch. You really do need to get up and you do need to get moving. So no doubt we are going to hear some stories in the next few months, probably most likely from America, I'd say, with people doing damage to their house, putting holes in the wall and that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's definitely true. I mean, because like with the movie, even to the warning comes up on the screen that there's a wrist strap that comes with it. We recommend that you put the wrist strap on, blah blah. So, but you're right, Kinect and the Move are going to need a lot of space. You're going to have to move that coffee table out of the way because you're going to be swinging your arms and you're going to be flipping about, and especially with Kinect, you're going to be some of these games you're going to actually be jumping up and down and waving your arms around and using up a lot of space. So I think what Kinect and Move are going to do is that they're going to take gaming to that next level where things are more active. I agree with how you said that. You can actually sit on the couch with the Wii if you want and just wiggle it about. Yeah. Because you can do that, but with like with one of the games on the Move's Gladiator Combat, which is a combat one, where you're gladiators in a gladiator arena, you're actually, when you're performing finishing moves, you're actually slashing and jumping, and so just remember, if you pick up these things, you're going to need a lot of room, or else you're going to be putting an insurance claim for that nice china vase that you've got sitting on your mum's coffee table.
It could get dangerous. Thanks very much. Thanks very much, Gerard.
Not a problem. Thanks, Wammo.
You can find Gerard at stuff.co.nz under the Game Junkie blog in the technology section. Also, twitter.com/Game Junkie.